Hello, everyone. I hope all is well, and I'm gonna take you on a trip out here out west, eh? This is my friend Myron here. He's a geologist, and I want to start off by thanking everyone who watches these videos, who subscribes, who supports, who comments, everything. I love it. It's wonderful. The last time I saw my subscriber count, I think I was at 124, and I looked today. It was like over 160. I said, "What?" I said, "You gotta be kidding me." I said, "You gotta be 100. You gotta be kidding me." So this is wonderful. People are interested, it seems, and I'm gonna keep going, baby. I'm gonna keep going because I love it. I love sharing this stuff and figuring out the mysteries because we're solving mysteries. We're not just we're not just discovering the mysteries. We are discovering them. We are uncovering these mysteries and we are solving them, baby. We're solving them. And Myron, you're gonna help us. You're gonna help us big time here, aren't you? Yes, you are. You know why? Because I said so. That's why. Take it away, Myron. Take it away, baby. You can tell by that hat we're somewhere in the West. I don't know where exactly. But this is Myron. He's a geologist. Myron, take it away, baby. Show us around your neck of the woods or your neck of the desert and show us what's happening, baby.
Why, hello out there in the internet world.
Hello.
I hope your day's going well. Mine sure is, because I'm out doing geology, which is my favorite thing to do. Now, one of the things I love about hiking around, just looking at rocks, is you hike into areas that most people don't hike to, and you stumble across very interesting things.
Well, certainly.
Let's hike right over and take a look, okay?
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan. I like the hat, Myron. Wow, what is that? What is this, Myron? What is this?
This amazing and beautiful layer dips steeply at about 45 degrees and has eroded into a classic series of shapes that we call flat irons.
Eroded into shapes that you call flat irons. Flat irons. Huh. All right, Myron. I think we're in Wyoming.
I'd like to show you where this neat layer of rock is in the rock record. So here's a stratigraphic column
Now watch this.
that shows that rock record from the oldest to the youngest.
Okay, right there. So we have the oldest at the bottom. Now the oldest, and he slid up to the youngest up here. The youngest is going to be right here where the red is. That's the youngest, and the oldest being down here where the green is. So the oldest, and this is the youngest up here. This is the youngest up here. Important to take note of that.
Ages named here, and right here in the middle of the Cretaceous in this orange unit that I've colored on this stratigraphic column is what's called the Frontier Formation. It's about 95 million years old and is typically about 500 feet thick or so. And that's where this interesting unit resides. Let me show you what the world looked like at the time, the frontier time.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Ron Blakey map. I love these maps.
Oh, come on.
So there's this
Myron.
huge seaway that comes from the...
Myron, we know about the inland sea. But give me a break. It did not stretch into Minnesota.
Come
It
on.
did not stretch into Minnesota. For fuck's sake.
Come on.
From the top in the Arctic waters, clear down into the Gulf of Mexico. This is Texas. And we have Wyoming right here, okay? And this area that's built out into the seaway,
Yeah, what's that?
those are where deltas were building out during this frontier time. And it was here, probably just offshore, is where this special unit was deposited.
Deposited.
Let's go down there and take a closer look.
So these were deposited. Deposits. Like that. Pretty big, pretty damn big, Myron.
Is this surprising you here?
Yeah.
I know when I first saw it years ago, it kind of surprised me. Let me show you something about this.
Why don't you explain it?
I get my rock hammer.
Never used it. Never used it
Look
before.
how deep I can go into here.
Never used it before.
This is soft stuff.
Yeah, soft ash,
And
baby.
this soft material.
Hey. It's soft ash, baby. That's soft ash. I know it's ash because you're going to show us that it's ash here in a moment. And Myron, I don't think that these are deposited flat irons. I think that it's a tipped over structure. And I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. I think that these are containers that have spilled over. Okay, they look like containers that have spilled over. Excuse me.
That popcorn feel to it. And look, I want to show this to you.
Show it.
Get it to focus here for us. Okay, and it can break up.
I've seen this before.
I can break it up pretty easily.
Yes.
Really interesting material, isn't it?
So it's
Like, well,
powder.
If it's so soft, why is it holding up? Why is it making these flat irons that we saw in the drone video?
Oh, give me a break.
To have flat irons like this, to have this rock going up and staying up in the sky.
Myron. You said that these eroded away and they were deposited this way. All equidistant, in the same size, in the same pattern here. No. Myron, continue, but Myron.
So to speak, you need really hard rock like a limestone or a well-cemented sandstone. And here,
a well-cemented sandstone.
It's soft.
Soft dash, baby.
So I've jumped up over here on the other side of the valley, kind of up the ridge, as you can see them behind me.
You see the ridge. The ridge. What ridges are usually are a tipped over building. Now, what I see here are tipped over buildings. We're going to get a much better look at this in a moment from the drone again.
Yes, we will.
Aaron's going to take us back up into that drone. But this seems to be some structures here that have all tipped in the same direction, and they're up on their sides here. Let me just draw an example here. So you have a structure like this. This is how structures are built, eh? But when they tip over in their own melt, we are standing right here on this ridge, which is right here, that ridge of a tipped over building that was upright, like the one on the left here, which was upright like this, but it is now tipped over like this. It's tipped over now. So now we have a pointed ridge right here, and that's where we're standing on. This is likely the roof side over here. Okay, this is likely a wall over here on that side of the ridge that was upright like this, and this over here being the roof, which was upright like this right here. Okay, do you see that? Continue, Myron.
To show you this principle of what we would expect for hard stuff.
You know? Hard stuff, yeah. And these were containers, they look like to me. And he's going to tell us what they were. I think that they were old world. This was a factory of some kind producing whatever this ash is here, which you can make clay with. And he's going to show us all this. So let's get into this right now.
For hard things. That's what stands up on a ridge. This is a miniature version, not very big.
These are bricks.
That's what stands out. The soft shale that was on top of this, I can look down here, it's stripped back. It just strips right clean back. So I want to show you how shales normally erode. See, I'm standing on soft shale right here. This is soft shale.
Soft dash, baby.
It's a dark-colored shale, and it erodes into a valley. It's because it's so easily eroded, it's the place that erodes the lowest. So it makes these beautiful valleys like this, and it happens at a small scale as well. But yet, when we look at these tall flat irons, like we call them, this...
Here's the shot. Here's the money shot. Here's the money shot.
Yes, it is.
Do you see what's happening here?
Yes, I do.
Let me show you here. So, like I said, what I see are tipped over buildings. Do you see them already? Do you see them yet? And maybe these were containers. Like these here seem to have been round containers all in a row, maybe on top of a building, it seems. And what seems to have happened here, in my eyes, it looks like this building here was upright. This one back here was upright. This one here was upright. And they've all since tipped over. And they're all tipped over the same exact angle here too. You see that? See the angle here? This one's tipped over like this. This one here, tipped over like this. This one here, tipped over like this. They all sunk the same way. They fell down the same fucking way. Do you see it? Even this one here. Look at where the bricks are lined up here. And this same fucking angle here. These buildings all fell down this way. Do you see it? Do you see it? These were containers. These were containers, not flat iron, nothing. And they were full of material. And let's take a look at what that material is, because it's a raw material. And I think that they were manufacturing it in the past. Let me show you.
Ridge. We don't see that. We see it up in the sky like a steep, hard rock that can be road. So this is a bit puzzling, isn't it?
No.
Why is that happening?
Those were
I'm going to
round.
show you a little experiment that's kind of fun. I've taken some of that, well, crumply white, almost white, isn't it? I've put it in this bag,
Beige.
this nice bag here. Hopefully you can see through there how much I've got. There we go, yeah. And we're going to add some water to this. Let's see what happens.
He grabbed from those containers behind him there. He grabbed some of that.
So,
from those...
Stephen, my friend here, he's going to pour in some water.
Now watch this now.
Yeah, keep going, Stephen. Keep going. I've done this many times. Oh, wow, yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's add a little more. Look how much water I've put in
I
here.
see it, Myron.
This is a big bag, too. I wish I could remember. I can't remember how much it holds. My wife could tell me. Let's keep going,
Oh,
Stephen. I'll tell you when I think it's about right.
For the love of God, Myron.
About there. I've got this thing 2/3 full.
I see that.
2/3 full. And we have all that material, that rock, sitting in the bottom. And you're waiting for something to happen. Well, it takes a bit. So we have to do this. We have to play the video trick here. After a couple hours, a few hours actually, 4 or 5 maybe, I'll show you what happens. This is what happens. Look at it. It absorbed all that water. And it's very greasy feeling. Now, I actually kind of hate to do this.
Oh.
Because I've done this too.
Be a man.
If you take some of this,
Oh.
put it in your finger and do that and squish it around, it absolutely feels like grease. Just like the grease you use in like tractors and implements and things like that. Greasy as can be. In fact, apparently, at least some people use this to grease their wagon wheels.
No, they
Of
didn't.
course, this is water-based,
So
so you'd have to keep it wet, not optimal.
yeah, that
But
wouldn't work.
still,
That wouldn't work.
super slippery stuff. I'll tell you what, you do not want to drive on the roads where you have this around. You'll get stuck in a minute, and it is the worst stuff ever to get off your car. It's hard to get off this. Well, what is it?
Building material.
Turns out it's called bentonite.
Bentonite.
The technical word.
And they're using this bentonite likely in the mortar or the construct or the manufacturing of these fucking bricks, or the masonry or the masonry. It's a clay base, and they make clay. And there's big containers of it behind them here. Big containers of it tipped over, big tipped over buildings. Excuse me. And he's just demonstrated to us that with this ash, this bentonite is basically an ash material, but it seems like they had these in containers here. They're big containers. You see them. They were round containers, but they're not round anymore because half of them are in the ground. Big, heavy. They fell down. They're heavy. But you see what it is here. It's a raw material, raw minerals, pretty much, and it seems to have just been from the past. And this site is destroyed. It's laying on its side. All the buildings are lying on their sides. You saw that, right?
For the clay is montmorillonite. And it has this property of absorbing lots and lots of water, up to 20 times the volume.
Because ash.
It's just really kind of fun.
It's brick ash.
So we've solved this mystery. Every time it rains, these beautiful deposits become like grease and are very difficult to wash away.
True that.
Yeah, this bentonite's fun stuff. I mean, they use it in cosmetics. Women love to put it on their faces because it absorbs the water and oils out of their face. They use it in the oil and gas industry to help contain oil wells, kitty litter. They use it in the foundries for iron, pouring or making iron molds. And they use it to line landfills and toxic waste areas because it becomes impermeable. As water gets in it, it expands and becomes impermeable, or things can't flow through it. Oh, and one more, interestingly, it helps make your wines better. Now, go figure that. It helps remove impurities from wines. Okay.
It does actually, but what was I just gonna say? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Anywho, I might remember here in a moment.
Call this clay the clay of 1,000 uses. So how is it that this montmorillonite clay, or this bentonite, absorbs so much water?
Oh, correct. I was gonna say this is likely also the materials used because it's very silt-like, rather. Correct? Yes. Yeah, it's a clay to line the canals and the water features, the lakes they built, and the ponds and the lakes and the water reservoirs. They use this stuff likely to line that stuff. So here's the materials used, likely in the construction of our realm, or at least the materials available to repair it.
What is it that actually happens?
It's ash.
Well, I want to show you a sketch. I'm not a crystallographer or a geochemist, so it'll be fairly simple.
Right, you're a
That's probably good.
You're a geologist.
I want to show you
Keep it simple.
The structure of the clay. They're sheets, super thin sheets. This black here, that's a sheet, and one here, thin like mica, 1 nanometer thick, each of these. Well, a nanometer, that's 1 page. If you hold the page on its edge and look at the edge of that thickness of that paper, that's about 75,000 nanometers. And this is one of those. Gives you a feel, okay? So they have these sheets, nanometer thick sheets, and there's a space there where it has sodium in this case. There are 2 types of bentonite. Calcium, cation that can be in here, atoms of calcium, or sodium with a positive charge.
Or sodium with a positive charge. These are things that would be likely found in mortar and bricks because of the conductivity and the conductive nature of these bricks, which they obviously do have. They're metals. This is obvious. And we have here in these strange containers of clay behind them here. In these strange containers tipped over here, bentonite, which is a clay, which is basically an ash. They made some sort of an ash. I don't know if it's brick ash, but it's an ash. And yeah, they're making clay. It's the clay of 1,000 uses. They can purify wines with it, everything. And that's the type of thing that's the kind of thing the old world did. Multi-use, multi-purpose. Nothing was one use. Everything was multi-use, multi-purpose, everything, multi-meaning, everything. And is it not interesting that we find sodium and calcium in this clay, which would likely be put into mortar or bricks, right? Yes. Surprised that he didn't find any lime in here as well. That's probably the next ingredient that would go into the mixture.
Cation, either sodium or calcium. Sodium's the best one. Turns out Wyoming has 70% of the supply of sodium-rich bentonite.
Did you hear that? Wyoming produces 75%. That means that there was a factory there. That means that there was a factory producing it there, and it's still there, and they're still excavating from that factory, and mining it and just reusing it. They have to mine these old sites because they're all damaged and melted. But the old world had factories. They had the means of producing bricks. They had the means of producing the stuff and repairing it That's how this world was repaired and rebuilt. They already had the means available.
Yes, they did.
So I find this very interesting. Myron, continue.
Okay, so there we go. We have these sodium cations between here and water molecule here. And it turns out, because of the charges involved and everything, that there's an affinity for water because of the electrical properties to be pulled into there. And it's quite a swelling force. In fact, people have used this to break up things, big rocks and boulders and stuff. They'll drill holes into it, and they'll fill it with bentonite and add water and let it expand, and it breaks things up. It's a demolition, non-explosive demolition. It turns out it's about 18,000 psi of pressure it can create. Pretty interesting.
That's like metal.
Okay.
That's like metal.
So it pulls that water in because of the electrical charges. And by the way, these super thin sheets, these mica-like sheets, are made of silica tetrahedral shapes and octahedral shapes of aluminum.
Yes.
If you want to look it up on the internet, you can get into this.
I don't need to.
Well, I've told you this is montmorillonite and the amazing properties it has. Now the obvious question is, well, how did it form? What is it? And it turns out it is altered volcanic ash.
Oh, for fuck's
primarily
sake.
Volcanic glass.
Oh.
Altered volcanic ash.
Here we go.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you kidding me? Give me a break. Those are containers.
That's 10 feet thick. If you measure the thickness of it, it's 10 feet thick.
Yeah.
10 feet of volcanic ash?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
In round containers.
Actually, it's more than that.
In round containers.
Remember, this has been buried about 7,000 feet.
Excuse me, Myron. They're in round containers. Okay? They're in round fucking containers here. All the same fucking size. Yeah, they're 10 feet high containers of bentonite clay. You give me a break, Myron. You give me a break with your volcanic ash. What? And it flew through the air with this bag of toys, and it deposited itself in this artistic fashion here, just here because it wanted to, because I thought it'd be cute.
Packed it. It was altered to bentonite and uplifted to where we are today.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know I've actually tried to look this up. Someone out there may know, but how much did this compact and whatnot through alteration? I'm going to, just for the fun of it, let's say 5 times. It might be a little less, I don't know. But if it's 5 times, that means 50 feet of ash fell. Wow.
No,
that's pretty catastrophic.
That's ridiculous.
That's pretty catastrophic.
Ridiculous.
And it turns out there are some 10 layers or so that are economic to mine, and many, many more layers that are thinner yet. So this happened a lot. But some of these guys were biggies, and this was one of the biggest. There are 2 layers in this region that are about 10 feet thick. Wow.
So there was 2 factories. So there were 2 factories lying on their sides here. Lying on their fucking sides here. You see the buildings. Here's the upper floors, the upper decks, lying on their sides as well. Is that a coincidence here? All these buildings lying on their fucking sides here. It was a factory producing bentonite clay, likely for bricks and mortar and masonry materials. And he said there's 2 of these factories out this way out west.
It's hard to imagine the effects that these great volcanic eruptions had on life at that time.
Because they're not real.
And sobering to ponder the impact it would have if it occurred today. Now, of course, geologists, when you start talking, oh, wow, volcanoes, very explosive volcanoes to blow this fine glass up into the sky and float down or come down, rain down, I should say, onto the earth. Wow.
With style.
Impressive stuff.
With style.
And, of course, you want to know, well, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Claimed your thousands
Give me a
of dollars
break.
in debt.
Give me a break with your commercials. Give me a break. I think we've had enough, Myron. I love you all. This fake commercial, too. These fake AI commercials. You think I'm paying YouTube for a subscription? You think I'm going to pay YouTube? You know? You think I'm going to pay YouTube? Ain't happening, baby. You're gonna pay YouTube after they're, you ban Shampoo, and then you're gonna add, you want us to pay, and you want us to pay to have these little commercials. Yeah, right. You know, you unstrike Shampoo immediately. That's bullshit. YouTube, you hear me? You can grow up. And I love you all. You too. YouTube, I love you as well. But grow up, and grow a set. And to all of you watching, I love you all and take care. And I do, from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. I read all of your comments, and I love them. I can't believe it. The comments I get, and just nothing negative. It's unreal. It's just support, and people are adding to the mix, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I thank all of you. I read all of your comments, and I will be getting back to them tonight, rather. And have a nice morning, afternoon, evening, night, day, and I'll see you soon.